Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I tell you, I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch it on occasion here and there, but I got to tell you, the first season of The Apprentice kind of captured my imagination, and it's probably the only show that I watched every single week of the entire season. It just captured my attention. And I think when that program, starring Donald Trump, focused on real people trying to make a real difference in their lives and to really become players in business, it was so much better than the has-been celebrities that they've done for the last several years. That, you know, it's nice that they're raising money for charity, but I don't know. I just love seeing people's lives get transformed. One of those lives was Bill Rancic, who was one of my favorites, and you were my pony early on. I thought early on you were going to be at least a finalist, if not the guy who took it all. And Bill, you're one of the few people who have done the Apprentice program, but including some of the celebrities who tried to revive their career through it, who've actually used the program as a springboard for your improvement and for your business growth. You impressed me on many different levels. Thanks for being on our show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yeah, that was definitely a life-changing event for me, and if you can believe it, it was a decade ago.
It's unbelievable. It's so hard to believe. Bill Rancic, by the way, early on, I want to mention it a few times. Bill Rancic, that's RANCIC.com. BillRancic.com. Cool website. Make sure you check that out, learn more about what he's up to. And you've been up to a lot. First of all, you've gotten married since then, and now you're doing some stuff collaboratively with your wife and have a show with her, and you have a young son. Your life you've been very busy since The Apprentice.
I have been very busy. And if it wasn't for The Apprentice, a lot of this wouldn't have happened. So I have to give Trump credit where credit is due, because, you know, I met my wife. She interviewed me after I won. My wife hosts a show called E! News, and that was how we met. And now we have a beautiful son named Duke. He's 14 months old. So, my life has been a whirlwind the last decade.
Yes, and I heard the interview. I don't know why. Probably my wife likes to reel me in because she knows I personally liked your story about how you two met, and apparently it was love at first sight.
Yeah, we met, and we went out a week later, and that was it. On our first date, we were planning literally the rest of our lives. So we've been together about 8 years now, and knock on wood, very happily. In Hollywood, that's like a lifetime. It's like dog years here in Hollywood.
Tell us about your show with your wife.
Well, my wife and I do a show called Juliana and Bill, and we're in our 7th season. It's on E! Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock, 7 Central. And, it's a wholesome show. It's a reality show, but it's actually a show you can watch with your kids, and you don't have to cover their eyes or cover their ears. It's a very wholesome quality show, and we're very proud of it because we've been able to tackle a lot of very important issues over the last 7 seasons, from breast cancer to infertility to all of our work that we do in Haiti, and we've used it as a platform for good and not evil.
Yeah, you got to love that. And you know what's cool is not even a platform for mediocrity or nothingness or raw entertainment, which is what the vast majority of stuff is. Some of it is overtly evil. I agree with you on that. But there's just a whole lot of nothingness out there, puff. And you having that opportunity to talk to that many people and choosing it for good, I think is awesome. I also see you guys kind of show up on other shows. I've seen you all on, particularly on NBC. Is that network part of the NBC family?
Yeah. E! is owned by NBC, and we hosted a show last year called Ready for Love on NBC. My wife and I did that together. We certainly are hosts for hire.
There you go.
That microphone will travel.
That's right. Now, your wife is a breast cancer survivor as well, isn't she?
She is. She's a breast cancer survivor, and now a big advocate of certainly spreading the word about early detection. I think that the thing about breast cancer is if you catch it early, you have a 98% chance it's never going to come back again. So we always, every opportunity we can, we spread the word to let these young ladies know to go out and get checked or check themselves and make sure that they're putting themselves on their to-do list.
Yep. Now, in my life, I do a daily talk show, and I'm a publisher at usdailyreview.com, and yet people think, what do I do with all my time? It only takes an hour a day to do a show. Yeah, I know, I make it look easy. But, you do a weekly program, and you're found in a lot of other places as well. But kind of tell us what the scope of your business is today. Are you involved in consulting? Obviously, you're doing keynote speeches. Kind of give us a panoramic overview of what you're up to.
Well, I'm not into consulting. I don't really do that, but I've certainly I'm a business owner. We own restaurants. We own a restaurant chain called RPM. We have RPM Italian and RPM Steak. We have locations in Chicago, and we just broke ground on one in Washington, D.C. I'm a real estate developer, and then I'm fortunate enough to work with great companies like AT&T. I'm working with them today, and we get to spread the message to help support small businesses and help educate consumers as to the value of the small business owner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many of those. And I think those have been among the hardest hit by the economic hard times over the last several years. What kind of messages are you bringing to them?
Well, what's interesting is they've been the hardest hit, but what people don't realize is that they are really the way that we're going to get this economy back on track. The small business owner, this will blow your mind, they employ 83% of people working in America today.
Yep.
So our economy is really on the backs of the small business owner, yet oftentimes they don't get the recognition for that. So, when we're out this holiday season, we got to just be cognizant about where we're spending our dollars and make sure that we're spending them with the small business owner, because that money stays in the community. It provides jobs to the community. They sponsor the local soccer and baseball teams in your community, and they're rebuilding Main Street.
Yeah.
So they're the ones who keep your town vibrant.
No question about it. No question about it. And the reality is that they are the least likely to get special tax breaks that the mega corporations get. They're the least likely, the most likely to get overregulated. And so they've got some really unique challenges that no other businesses have. But as you point out, they are the backbone of the economy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things I'm doing today is obviously small businesses are critical to any community, and they want to keep people in the community safe. So I'm launching a program today called My Business Cares, and it's really a chance for small businesses to nominate a school within the community, and that school is eligible to get a grant from AT&T. All the small business owner needs to do is get all of their employees to take the pledge not to text and drive. Texting and driving is so dangerous. It causes so many fatalities and so many accidents. If we can just educate our employees and our neighbors and our friends, hey, it can wait. Put the phone down. You can text when you're in a safe spot, but when you're driving and texting, you're twice as likely to get into an accident than if you were driving and drinking.
Yeah. Well, I can barely drive as it is, so driving and texting is just insane.
But so many people do it. That's the scary thing.
Yeah, it really is scary. And everything seems so urgent. It's so urgent that you have to do it right now. Pull over, put your car in park, and text your heart out. But don't do it while, thinking, and what they do is they sink into this this deception. Oh, I'm just going to do it at the light. Well, the light changes, and you're only halfway through the sentence. And, well, I only have a couple of more words to write. Next thing you know, they've ran somebody over.
Well, no one ever going to happen to them until it does.
Exactly. Isn't that funny how we all think somehow we're different from everyone else? Somehow we're exempt from the same fate that falls on so many people. There's a very good ad campaign that I'm assuming is nationwide. A young man, probably in his late 20s, blonde-headed guy, and he talks about how he ran over, I think he said 3 kids at once, killing them.
Yeah.
Texting "I love you" to his wife, to his girlfriend. And wow, I mean, if that doesn't make you think, what does?
Yeah, no, it's not worth it. I've taken the pledge, and we encourage everyone to take the pledge. And small businesses can nominate a school in their community by going to facebook.com/ATTSmallBiz.
Bill, I could talk to you for hours. I loved having you on. Thanks to AT&T for reminding people about the importance to take the pledge. And I've been very committed to not texting and driving now for quite a while. I have been guilty in the past of doing this, and I've made a commitment that it's a horrible example to the family in my car, not to mention the fact it's not safe, and it's just not safe for those who are outside of my car, for sure. Bill Rancic, like I said, great entrepreneur, media personality. You can learn more about him at BillRancic.com, the very first winner of the best season of The Apprentice. Yep. And, Bill, thanks for being with us.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you. We want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. And this is The Price of Business.